It's the Score North Twin Show.
And it's a Tuesday with Trevor Plouffe edition. Let's bring him in here from John Boy. You can find him talking baseball today. In a couple weeks, you'll see him on Bally Sports North. Very exciting. Play your theme song.
Too many places. People are sick of me. I'm sure.
Everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
Are you sick of Trevor Plouffe? Comment now on the new Score North Twin Show YouTube channel.
My wife is like commenting right now.
Yeah, this guy stinks.
Can't he ever shut up about baseball?
For a guy that hated the media, he sure seems to be overexposed.
Last night, she's like, we were having dinner. We try to like have our kids sit at the table and eat dinner together. But I have, MLB Big Inning on because I'm trying to watch as much baseball as possible. And she's like, can you just turn the TV off? I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching the games, right? I got to see what's going on. I need to see if Michael Busch homers for a fifth straight game against the Diamondbacks, honey.
Which he did.
Understand.
Which he did. And so, but that's the greatest thing is I say the same exact thing because she'll say like, I didn't agree to watch baseball. I'll say, it's my job. I have to watch baseball.
It's my job.
Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm stuck with this life. I chose this life.
The two TV. I used to have the 2 TV setup, which was a great solution to this. You'd put like a Bravo show on, and you can even get the volume. I just need a screen to see if Bush hits a home run for the 5th straight day. We only have.
She doesn't want to watch TV. That's the thing. She's like, not.
Oh, no TV at all whatsoever.
Off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything you watch together at all? Like, do you ever sit down and?
Oh, yeah, we do. Like, and so she has to be really interested in the show, or else like she's one of those people that falls asleep 5 minutes into an episode. So it's something that I enjoy, and like she like kind of enjoys. It takes us 3 months to watch a couple episodes, but like every once in a while she'll like really get into a show. I'm trying to remember what the last one we watched together. It'll come back to me, but very rarely is she like in on TV.
Yeah. So if you're this question for the whole room here, if your wife, or in Declan's case, fiance, falls asleep after 5 or 10 minutes, do you pause the show for the next time she's awake, or do you just keep watching the rest of the episode?
For the show, if it's something that she is heavily invested in, I'll pause it for her because I have finished episodes before and I've gotten a talking to the next day being really upset about it. But if I've told you guys this, which is the ballsy move, which I know won't last much longer. I know, Trev, you probably would also agree with this statement. I have when it's a late game, like when it's a West Coast game in LA or something, I'll start downstairs, but then I'll come up to the bedroom TV to finish the game. And that's when I see the eye mask come on from the fiance and I get a little roll over. And I know that those days are limited of doing that, but I'm just trying to milk it as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that too, and she'll be like, "Hey, I want you to watch in the room." And then when I do put it on, yeah, she gets a little upset. But I've been wondering this for a while, and you guys, if you can answer, I love it. Can't you or why can't you hook up your headphones to your TV? And can you? Because I've never done it, and I feel like that's not like a normal thing to do. You can?
Yeah, I think you can. You should be. If it's a newer smart TV,
have you guys done it?
There should be I haven't done it, but I gotta imagine there's like a Bluetooth function, right? Like to
Me
to
too, but
your TV.
I don't think there is.
I've never hooked up headphones to a TV. What I will do in that case is I'll just watch on a screen, like a tablet, or just hold the phone up with the headphones in. But yeah, that is.
But don't you think?
Strategy.
Instead of like, I'll watch TV. I'm sure you guys everyone listening has experienced this. You watch on the lowest volume. You have the subtitles on. When you can just plop the old AirPods in, it would make all the difference in the world. But I just don't think that's either not like commonplace or you can't do it. I'm not really sure.
We may have stumbled into like a weird loophole, like a business opportunity that somehow hasn't been covered yet.
I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. 30 years in, being in the same house with the person is enough. You don't have to watch stuff together.
Just existing in the same square footage.
She's in the other room painting right now. You know what she doesn't need? She doesn't need me to come in.
So you're saying the key to marriage is exist fairly pleasantly in the same square footage.
Space is important. I agree with you.
Space is important.
And at the end of the day, be willing to give her the better TV. She gets the better TV. I'll go and watch stuff on my computer or upstairs. And it's a nice one, but it's not as nice. But I mean, if because if she asks me to watch a game, it's always inevitable, like baseball. it'll be like she'll say, "Yeah, come in and watch it." I'll be like, "Okay, cool."
The trap.
Bottom
It's a
of
trap.
the second, is this done yet?
Exactly.
And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm going upstairs. I'm just gonna go upstairs. It's like, this is baseball. It's gonna take forever, okay?
I've
Or it's
told
gonna take a
Judd and
couple
Declan
hours.
this. When my wife and I, we've been married for 4.5 years. We've been together for about 11 years. And when we were first together, and I had the place I lived in, I had the 2 TVs set up in the living room. And by the way, I was covering you guys as a beat writer and a radio host. So I needed to watch, like, I felt anyways, like every inning of every Twins game, so I don't lose track of what's happening.
Sure.
So we had the 2 TV set up, and oftentimes I would have like a Twins game on one and then like a second sporting event on the other, because Judd and we were doing 4 hours a day of radio, just trying to keep up with everything. And my girlfriend at the time would come over, and we would, in my mind, we'd be spending time together. We'd be in the living room. I'd have the 2 sporting events on, right? But she just got up and left one time, and I was like, where are you going? She's like, well, this is dumb. We're not even like spending time together. I'm like, yes, we are. We're hanging out. She's like, you have 2 sporting events on and your computer open, and you haven't spoken in 90 minutes. Like, why am I even here? I'm like, well, we're hanging out.
That's what guys do. Guys,
That's
hang
guys
out.
being
You
guys.
don't even have to say a word to somebody else. That was a great hang, man. Thanks for coming.
Coach Trev, you're 1,000% right there. You just nailed it.
Yeah, great
Great
hang.
seeing
Well, I
you.
love-
Great seeing you.
I love this show now. It's not a twin show. It's a relationship show.
That's
I think
right.
We could,
Yeah.
work with
Well,
that.
if they can't score some runs at some point, and if all their best players keep getting hurt, we may have to pivot to, Now, by the way, Declan broke the news this morning. Matt Wallner down. Larnach is up. So Larnach's going to get another shot. Tony Kemp on a minor league deal this morning to the Twins. Super utility guy. But I don't know. Now that Carlos Correa's out, we said yesterday, if you can just like tread water and be close to 500 at June 1st, June 10th, isn't that kind of the win for this team right now?
I think so. With the guys that are out, like you can withstand some injuries, but probably not to your 2-3 main guys that you need to provide offense for you. It's just Royce, I think, hurts the most. I think we'd all agree on that. Like Carlos, a great start to the year. Him not probably being on the road with the guys in the clubhouse every day. I'm not sure if he is or not. I haven't asked, but like that's a big thing too for the Twins because he's so good at like getting other guys prepared for the game, not just himself. I've done what he's done. I think they called it the intercostal muscle, which is right between the ribs. I mean, it sucks. I mean, you can't really move until it gets healed. So I'm hoping that's only going to be, a 3-week thing, something like that. Curious to see if he goes on a rehab assignment or not, because you don't have to go on a rehab assignment if you don't want to. I feel like Carlos might be one of those players like, put me back in the lineup right away, especially if the offense continues to go the way they've gone. So, yeah, it's been tough. I mean, right now, the offensive ranks of the Twins compared to the big league level are they're pretty bad. Runners in scoring position, anyone you can point to, they're about at the bottom right now. So it's difficult, especially when you're losing those guys.
The problem now too, Trev, is this. Offensively, it hurts, but defensively, the last 2 games, it's really hurt. Because like you've taken out, I mean, I don't think, and we've talked about this before, I don't think Correa is appreciated because he makes all these plays. And it's just like, well, of course he did. He's the shortstop. But then you put, player X in, right? And it's like he doesn't make the play. The error that or the hit that should have been an error on Farmer on Sunday. Now that's a tough play, but I think Royce makes that play. And Baldelli's talked about this for 2 days straight. So you're not only sacrificing some really good bats, but some really good gloves, and now your pitching's affected adversely too. So yeah, I mean, it's one thing to lose one of those 2. It's another for the entire left side of your infield to be gone.
Yeah, and like they are so important to the team, and it does create havoc in other areas, like you're saying. Like 100% pitchers are, whether they want to admit it or not. When you got a guy like Carlos Correa behind you, you're pretty confident about going in the zone. Hey, I really want to get this ground ball right here. I'm going to really make this pitch or really go for it. When you have someone else behind you, I'm not saying these guys can't get the job done. But there's levels to this. Like Carlos Correa is a platinum glove winning shortstop. Like he is a guy that can go and do these things. It just a little bit more conviction on these pitches. And it definitely means something not seeing Carlos back behind you.
One of the few positives, Trevs, Trev, is Ryan Jeffers at the plate over the last week has been phenomenal. He's coming up with big at-bats. He's extending at-bats. The broadcast made this point yesterday that he made this offseason adjustment that when he gets the count full at 3-2, he's going to take. He's going to take because he doesn't want to chase and he doesn't want to put himself in a strikeout, which I found super interesting. Is there habits that, obviously, if you could multiply Ryan Jeffers over the last week 8 times, you would have the best lineup maybe in baseball, but what can the Twins kind of learn from a Jeffers approach? And is there anything that's like contagious that the rest of the lineup can maybe start to pick up on and start putting more bats on the ball?
Is that real?
That's
Taking
what
on
I
3 and
heard.
2, that's not misconstrued at all, because that seems like a crazy.
That does feel like an odd strategy
To take on 3-2.
Yeah. I mean,
I
know it's not a fastball count anymore, and that's basically you can get whatever pitch at any time in that count, but that seems like a very odd strategy to me. I mean, when Jeffers is on and like the timing's there and like he's sequencing up, like everything's working, like he can be one of the better hitters in the league. We've seen it. He's so powerful. Like he just needs to put the barrel on the ball and good things happen. We saw with the pinch hit homer. But that rule, I'm very curious to see if that's exactly what he's doing. I guess I should shoot him a text because that's
I'm gonna look up his
interesting to me. I
Let's
never
look up
thought
his
about that
stats.
before.
You're just gonna text him. I like that.
Is this true?
Well,
I'm
I
curious.
mean,
He's like, no, what are you talking about?
source, right?
I heard Provis brought it up.
Okay.
And I had the game.
I'm not saying you're
DVR'd.
wrong or Provis is
no.
wrong. I just think that's a
So
So
crazy-
Provis is lying to his new audience, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Provis
exactly.
is going
What are
on.
you
Just
that rat.
guy
that
gets
rat
a new
Corey
platform
Provis.
and
out.
starts
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah.
Gaslighting the poor viewers.
man.
By the way, we love Corey Provis on this show, and we are very excited. Have you worked with him yet? He's been on the radio side. You've not worked
I have
with him?
not. No, I've dropped in on the radio side here and there, but never like sat down and done a game with him, which is gonna be interesting because I've done no spring training, and it's just gonna be here we go, Anaheim, get you two guys together. But I have such a good relationship with him from knowing him over the years. I think it'll be good.
By the way, on full counts this season, Ryan Jeffers, 6 different plate appearances. He does have 2 hits, both of them singles on full counts. He has a walk and no strikeouts. So I don't know what you can glean from those statistics, but he has at least swung enough to have 2 hits in 6 bases loaded or full count plate appearances.
And last year on full count of appearances was probably his best split. He hit 348. He had an OPS of 1,500 on full counts last year.
You can't get a hit on a full count if you take the first pitch, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
either
agree.
a walk or a strikeout.
So
you
either
can't.
either he made an adjustment where he wasn't going to swing at the first thing and then wasn't going to get a better when he wanted it. I mean, the dude does foul off a ton of pitches too. Like we saw that. We saw that on Saturday where I think it was like a 13 pitch at bat. He had like an 8 pitch at bat yesterday too in a similar situation. So maybe,
what if you texted him? Here's the text. Hey man, you've been really good full counts the last couple years. What's your strategy to be so good with the full counts?
I'm gonna write this
I'm
down
gonna
too.
do it right now. We're gonna find this out.
Hey,
I
man.
don't know
Can
if
we
he's
find
gonna
out on
answer
the
me,
show?
That'd be great if we could.
I'm gonna look. So so he's hitting. It's a small sample. He's hitting 400 with the full count this year.
Hey man,
And last year with the full count, he was, look at this dude. I mean, come
he
on,
was
man.
killing
348 with a 643 OBP and an OPS of 1426. We need to know what the secret is. This dude crushed Ryan Jeffers with a full count. If you're a pitcher, do not go full to Ryan Jeffers. He will reach into your soul.
Okay, I will say this though. In 2022, he was atrocious on the full count.
Okay.
He had 3 hits and 36 plate appearances on full counts.
Wow.
So maybe it was an adjustment he made last year that he's carried over into this year after struggling.
we're gonna find out.
We're pontificating.
also-
I would love to be wrong.
Here's another thing. He rarely strikes out on a full count. He only has, I love how this rabbit hole that we're down right
What
now.
to say? Yeah.
48 plate appearances with a full count since the beginning of last year. Only 9 strikeouts.
Well, Plouffe just texted him. We're gonna find out.
he just got back to me. I said,
Sure.
what's this 3-2 count taking pitches thing going on? Corey mentioned it on the air. Do you know what I'm talking about? He goes, what you mean? No clue. So there's some miscommunication going on at some point.
I think Dex heard wrong in the game of telephone.
I'm gonna find this later today, and I'm sending an email with the clip. I will find the audio or video and send it with the clip.
This is the first time in Score North history that we've had a guy text the main source and get back. I don't know what they're talking about.
Instantly. Yeah. So, all right.
He said you're taking pitches more on 3-2 counts. Maybe. I mean, maybe that's what it was, but I don't know.
I mean, he does draw a lot of walks.
That's some journalism with a capital J right there.
Heck yeah, good job.
No, I mean, look, I we'll see what he says.
Yeah.
See what he says.
Can we text Joe Ryan and ask, okay, man, so your strikeouts are way up, your velocity is up, and you look like the number one starter that – it's funny because 2 years ago, we were talking about this yesterday too, Trev. People looked at Joe Ryan as, this could be your staff ace for the next 5 or 6 years. Then they make the Pablo Lopez acquisition, and Joe Ryan has the weird stretch where he kind of hides an injury and he gives up a bunch of home runs. But this is kind of the version of Joe Ryan that the Twins thought they were getting when they made that trade 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, he looks awesome. He made some significant changes in the offseason. I think those are kind of well documented. He's added velo to all of his pitches, which is mechanics based. You change some of the grips, and then kind of I think with all this data now that pitchers have, it's really like, okay, what's my plan? Like, it's not just like, hey, I got these pitches now and they're moving this certain way. It's like, okay, then how do I execute them? How am I going to throw them? What does this mean for me? Like they really get deep into it. And with Joe, look, his fastball has always been great. It's always played. Add some velo onto it. It looks great. He changed his like split change grip, where that's such a difficult pitch to control because a lot of times your fingers, I mean, look, you're used to gripping on your fingertips. That's, you're talking about controlling things. You want to have your fingertips, but that's a pitch where you're going like almost chopsticking the ball and you're relying on the inside parts of your fingers. And if you're not on a seam, which I believe last year he was not on a seam with the inside part of his fingers, then that's kind of just coming out. And now that relies huge on your arm angle and where you're releasing it. I think now he's grabbed the seam on one of the sides, and that's going to gives him the ability to control it a little bit more. And now he can really kind of grip it and rip it. And now he's getting a little bit more vertical movement with this too. And then he's throwing like the knuckle slider now, knuckle sweeper thing. And he says he's able to throw it harder. It's not moving as much, but I think that's like, as a hitter, when you got a guy whose pitches move like all over the place, it's almost easier for you to identify them because they look different coming out of the hand. So if I have a guy that's fastball's riding here, and it's got real tight spin, but his off-speed stuff kind of like comes out of his hand and hops up, or like the spin is loose, like you see those things right away. He's throwing that thing a little bit harder and it's not moving as much, but that's okay. I think that might even be better because you're able to control it. And the hitter, I mean, you put a wrinkle in it and it comes out of the same spot as your fastball and just moves a tiny bit.
Is that why you don't see
fastball
like
course? It's difficult.
Is that why you don't see like the Kerry Wood, Barry Zito, big hump, like 12-6 curveballs anymore? Or is it just because those are super hard to throw like that?
I think guys have chased other pitches. You're starting to see those a little bit. If you're managing at the top of the zone a bunch, you'll still see those guys throw, but they don't come out of the hand huge anymore. They're trying to tunnel all these pitches. They're trying to make it look the same. And that's the point I wanted to get to with Joe. That the difference I see with him this year is his arm speed is like elite, like through all of his pitches. It looks like he's getting that thing and everything is hard coming out of the hand. And as a hitter, it's like, everything looks like a fastball essentially because that's the arm action of it. And if you can continue that throughout the year, I mean, that's when you're going to see these numbers and these strikeout numbers pile up because hitters just aren't seeing the ball well against him right now.
How much more, Trev, too, do you find from when your career started to now that pitchers refine more? I mean, it's always been done. I'm not saying it hasn't, but it feels like with Driveline and things like that we have a lot more guys now coming back with different pitches, mechanics, adjustments, where it used to happen, but just from an outside observer's point of view, it didn't feel like it happened nearly as much as it does now.
Yeah, it's a thing that's changed throughout the game. What do we call like bullpen areas now? We call them pitching labs. I mean, I think the biggest thing has been the slow-mo cameras. Like the slow-mo cameras allow you to see your pitch grip, your release point. You have the data already, but when you can see it too, like these guys are making adjustments to your point, Judd, like pitch to pitch in a bullpen. Whereas prior to that, when we didn't have these cameras and we didn't have all this data, it was like a feel thing and you're relying on somebody else's eyes to tell you what to do. And now it's like, you can go. This is what I always tell teams. I'm like, okay, Corey Kluber was out there and he's had a great cutter his entire career. Like you can go get Corey, bring him into spring training, track all his numbers and his grip and his release point, and then you can have other pitchers start to throw that same exact pitch. Like it's that easy now. You have all the data, and then you just get in front of these cameras. It's like, okay, well, here was my grip. If I tweak it here, it's just that precise. So yes, they're making adjustments at an exponentially faster clip than they ever have before, and it's why sometimes that's good. We've seen that happen, but I think sometimes it could be counterproductive as well as you're just chasing and chasing and chasing something that you may never get to. But the ability to make adjustments at like basically light speed now is there for all these guys. And it's, I think, mainly because of the cameras.
I have an update on the Ryan Jeffers 3-2.
Okay.
Boy.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
I love it.
Valley
Text him
Sports
as
North.
well. Everyone's texting
I did not text
Jeffers.
him. I don't have
Wake
Ryan
up,
Shepard's
buddy.
number. Here's what I did, though. So he had a full count in the top of the fifth yesterday in Baltimore. Jeffers was, and he was fighting off pitches. I confused it. Provis said that they were chatting with Kyle Farmer, and Farmer made a spring training approach that when he gets a full count, he is going to take. So Kyle Farmer
That
is the one.
Also seems like an odd strategy.
It does seem odd. And I re-listened to it three
spring
times
training,
to
it's
really make
okay.
sure I had this right here. But it was during the Jeffers at bat, so I that's where I got it confused. And also, Kyle Farmer off to obviously a little bit of a rough start offensively, but Perk agreed. Perk said, "Oh yeah, that would be a good." I'm not sure if that is a good strategy.
Trev, do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I
Larry
do.
David? Okay.
This is
Envision in late October. It's the American League Championship Series. It's the Twins. It's the Orioles. Okay, Twins have weathered the storm. They get into the playoffs. Kyle Farmer comes up against the lefty, pinch hitter, late in the game. Series on the line. Full count, 2 outs, bases are loaded. Just a belt-high fastball right down the middle. Farmer tracks it right into the catcher's glove.
He said he was going to take.
Oh
my God.
goodness! Hey, it's spring training. You could do a lot of nutty things. All right,
That's
I'm
true.
okay with it in spring training.
That's
I mean, you
true.
saw who was it? Was a Dodgers kid back in the day when he couldn't swing the bat. I think it was Miguel Vargas, and he was
Yes.
just up there taking pitches, and he would get on base all the time.
Yes.
So
Pitchers
he like
knew he
physically
wasn't
was
swinging the
injured
bat.
or something, and he wasn't
Yes.
supposed to swing.
He was told not
we
to
get
swing
Carlo-
back.
Dude, can we get all due respect to the Twins lineup, okay? But like it's not performing right now. Would you rather have Carlos Correa up there tracking pitches if he can still field at shortstop? He can flip the ball to the third baseman to throw over to first base.
No, I
Just
mean,
to
hey,
take.
maybe we DH. Maybe you DH for him and let one of these pitchers hit. How about that?
It's
I
true.
see that. Yeah.
Trev, I know you're new to the TV stuff, but are there elements that like you don't enjoy doing? Are there elements that are still kind of foreign to you that you're trying to get used to as you've made the adjustment to like TV broadcaster from podcast, which is obviously two very different type of things? Has there been something on the TV side though that has been maybe like a challenge or something you don't like so far?
Challenging for me because I'm used to doing more long form where I can kind of like get to my point, and I've been told like I need time. I take time in my answers. So the time constraint, the pitch clock, and making your point as quickly as possible. I mean, that was an adjustment for me. But I just enjoy it, man. It's just so fun to me. I feel like so just fortunate that I'm able to be in the booth. So I hope that comes across when I'm there because I feel it. Like I'm like, dude, this is what more could you want? I get to watch a baseball game. I'm just calling what I see happens on the field. Corey's handling and Dick last year handles all the hard stuff. As a color guy, you just say like, I've been preparing for this for 30 years of my life. I've watched so many baseball games, been a part of so many. So I just kind of like let that side out of me. And I enjoy it. But being concise with my answers, as you guys know, now work with me, getting to that point was a little bit tough for me.
But that's what makes TV so great is that I can see what's going on while you're explaining something.
Yeah, we don't need every pick. I mean, I think
Yeah. So
we don't need to call. It's a 2-2-1. I think play-by-play
Yeah.
guys know how to lay
I can
out
see
of
that little
sometime.
ticker on the screen. Radio would be a pain because you do have to wrap your point up by the next
radio's
pitch.
different.
Yeah.
I like I think there needs to be an even balance of that. Like I still want a play-by-play guy keeping things on track.
Right.
Every once in a while checking in with the count, whatever it may be. But then more, conversation based, color, whatever it is, I think is important. We're going to try it a couple of times this year. I think we've talked about this already, but we're going to have just players, like ex-players in the booth, like a bunch of color guys in the booth. I'm not sure how it's going to go, to be honest with you.
Who's going to be do you know who's going to be the leader who keeps it on track, or is it undetermined right now?
I think Morney might be, because I think it's like me, Morney, and Perk one game, and I'm assuming he'll take that lead role. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I don't really like the Manning cast, and when Chris Young and CeCe Sabathia get together and they do their watch thing on MLB Network, it's like that's not for me. I don't enjoy that. I know a lot of people do, and I know that's kind of what we're trying to to find that audience, but I'm more of a tradition meets new school type guy, I think.
We could also get like Laud, Smalley, go find someone else from the old school 87 and just talk about the game back in my day.
Smalley would
get these with a sweeper. There's no such thing as
Roy
a
would be
sweeper.
good.
Molly, yeah, Paul Molitor could be in the mix there. We do have
Molly's doing some radio stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They got him doing like reads. They've got him doing some of the ad reads and stuff.
Yeah, the Case IH. I was going to say to Declan's question, the one thing is the disclaimer. I've never really understood why they always throw that at the analyst when the play-by-play guy could easily do it himself. Like, it just seems like a pain in the ass to read a disclaimer.
This game cannot be disseminated.
Be distributed
or
without
disseminated,
the express authority of the Minnesota Twins.
I mean,
LLC.
it's just reading, there's a prompt right in front of you. It's like not
Dick,
that
you
hard.
take it. No, I'm not doing this. I'm Trevor Plouffe. You do it.
If you've done it, I mean, think about 40 years in the booth for Dick. How many times has he read that disclaimer and then he finally just dish it off? I don't know.
It was probably a
I
prank.
like all that stuff.
I'm going to
Give
have
it
Burt
all to me.
Blyleven do it for a game and see what happens. And it just
I think
became
Tori didn't
20
like
years.
it. I always sense Tori hated doing it.
Yeah, screw this. Send it back. Did he make Tom Kelly do it?
Ooh, that's a good
We should go back and
No
find
way.
the clip.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Richard.
That was like Tom Kelly was my favorite. He was dry as hell, but he knew so much about the game. You learned something every telecast Tom did.
Oh my gosh.
Guy's a baseball savant, man. By the way, we do have at least one. We have time for at least one dumb baseball question here.
Do it.
From Jeff in Arkansas on the YouTube comment section. And by the way, we just launched this new Score North Twin Show YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't already, click that like button and the subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. This dumb baseball question presented by our friends at Red Cow Red Rabbit. Not only in the North Loop, which is where I tend to frequent the most. 6 locations, 5 in the Twin Cities, 1 in Rochester. Award-winning double barrel burger, double patty, white American
I sat right at that
cheese.
table last time I was in Minnesota.
Oh, dude. Are you a Red Cow or Red Rabbit? What's your preference?
What is that? I don't know what that means.
Oh, there's Red Cow and then there's Red Rabbit.
Okay, Red Cow.
Okay. We got to get
I've
you
been
to
to
Red
Red Cow
Rabbit at
many
some point,
times.
too. They got the
Okay.
wings,
great.
bone in.
Love it.
And the best part is you may not think of this, but you can belly up to the bar and watch baseball. That's right. Great TV viewing spot, craft cocktails, 36 beers on tap. Red Cow, Red Rabbit here helping to present the Score North Twin Show. So this is from Jeff in Arkansas. Trev, do you think pitcher wins are stupid as a statistic?
Jeez.
Come on, tell us what you really think.
No, if a starter's getting them. I don't think relievers should get wins.
That was kind of, he elaborated in another paragraph talking about if a reliever swoops in, gets one guy out, and then the offense scores a crooked number, and now you get a win. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I think that's silly. I don't know. I don't really think too much. I'm not like a guy that hates the win and says that has no value, although like statistically, I guess it kind of doesn't. To me, like wins for pitchers means that you went deep enough into the game to give your team a chance. And sometimes, the offense is going to bail you out, and you might give up 6 earned runs, but you'll get the win because the offense went crazy. But at least you're still in the game long enough to get a W. So that part for starters, I like. Reliever wins to me is silly, but I guess you got to give them to somebody.
Didn't Jesse Crane pick up like 8 or 10 wins one year, like way back?
Like with a third.
He just swooped in like 12
Straight to
times
arbitration,
in a year.
baby.
Yeah.
But who got to decide though that a starter had to pitch 5? That's what I don't get. Because like if I come in for the starter and it's tie and I get an out and I leave and then my team scores, I get the win. But yet somehow a starter has to pitch 5.
And like, let's say you go 4 2/3, no hit, perfect, but your pitch counts up. And then a cavalcade of relievers comes in. You can't get the win, right? Because you didn't complete 5. But like, why does that guy get the win?
That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that all this stuff doesn't make sense. A lot of these rules were put in so long ago. I mean, quality starts, didn't that change from 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs? Now it's 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Didn't that change like a couple years ago?
It was 6 and 3 for a long time. I don't know what it is now. But that quality starts is literally just, I think it was a baseball writer that was like,
saves.
I feel like, saves, but both of them are just 6 innings and 3 runs.
Right.
That sounds like a good outing. Let's name it.
The save is the best because it's like, if the tying run is on deck, I qualify for a save. But if he's in the hole, no save for me.
Yeah.
Classic baseball.
We've come up with a new stat, and it's kind of like there's already stats that kind of encompass this a little bit, but we call it OPS S plus.
Okay.
I think that's what we're calling it. So say you get on, you're a singles guy, but you can steal bases. What's the difference between a guy hitting a double and you getting on first and stealing second base? So just add whatever bases that you steal, just add them into your slugging percentage at the end of the year. I mean, that your OPS should be that you're getting those bags anyway. That's my
so for like the Juan Pierres and the Billy Hamiltons, Ben Revere, we would turn those into doubles. We would give you extra bases in your OPS equation.
You're getting to the base. What's the difference?
Minus the cots, like you'd have to dock for the cots.
Yeah, cots go down. Cots would take away your hit.
Yeah.
Or half or something. You have to develop it, but yeah.
I like incentivize stealing too, which I love that thought.
It would. And with the arbitration thing too, did you ever go to arbitration? You arbitration guy?
Never like went into a case, but I went through arbitration with the Twins. But
don't you have to know if like is the judge sabermetrically friendly? Because once you like if the judge is into wins above replacement and like other sabermetric stats, wouldn't you present your case that way versus, hey, I got this old school judge. Sure. I picked up 10 wins last year. This is great.
I got your baseball card, kid. I was looking at your baseball card. The back of your baseball card. You win.
Oh my gosh. So I don't think Terry Ryan like ever went to arbitration. Isn't that true? Like he like never did.
It was a long, they tried to avoid it because it would create weird tension with the play. Because ultimately you're literally haggling over. Think about you submit for $4 million and I submit for 4.5. We're gonna haggle over that. Yeah. The payrolls.
They're gonna tell you why you're not worth that. Corbin Burns with the Brewers went through it, and it did really cause a rift between the team and him. So it's they can't.
Do players go and sit in the actual hearing, or do players try and stay out of the hearing?
No, you're in the hearing. I think you have to be in the hearing. So you're like listening to like your side pump you up.
Can you make your case?
Tell you stink.
My representation's been terrible so far, Judge. I'd like to tell you why these guys should pay me.
So, hey, keep submitting your dumb baseball questions in the Score North Twin Show YouTube channel comments, and we'll try to mix in as the season goes. We'll make room for more than just the one an episode here too. But all right, I think we solved all the Twins' problems here. We got Ryan Jeffers all straightened out. Full counts,
relationships, televisions.
Kyle Farmer swing the bat.
We got firsthand. We got Ryan Jeffers
what are you talking
on the show basically to confirm.
The last text was, I have no idea. I don't think I've ever said that. So he's right.
He's right.
He was right.
And now he's going to Provis's room and pounding on the door.
I'm going to tell him right now. Miscommunication.
USOP.
I can't wait.
Provis.
I gotta bring this up.
So, all right, Tuesdays with Trevor. We'll do it again next week. You can find Coach Trev on Twitter and all across John Boy. This is the Score North Twin Show.